Raise your hand if you've ever not finished a video project. Welcome to Reel Filmmaking. My name is Corey Tindall, and today let's talk about post-production. I think as filmmakers, we have probably all encountered times where we are really excited to start a video and we go and we create the idea and we shoot it, and we get back to the editing and all the tweaking and all the post-production and we just lose steam. I know I personally have. I feel like post-production for me is rough. I recently just finished 2 short film projects that I've been working on for way too long. I don't want to tell you because I'm so embarrassed, but way too long. They shouldn't have taken this long to finish, but finishing them this week, I had some time to just reflect and just think about like, okay, what happened? Why did these take so long for me to finish? And I came up with a couple reasons I wanted to share with all of you, and hopefully this can be helpful for you in filmmaking and pitfalls that you can watch out for in your whole process so you don't get trapped in post-production, because it's not a fun place to be. So I think the first big thing that I found is that if I don't keep momentum, I tend to stall out with my projects. It's really exciting to create an idea. It's really exciting to like get people together to help you film, or even if you're just going out by yourself. Like filming is fun. Like I love having my camera. I love going and finding different angles and cool ways to tell a story. And then when you move into the post-production side, I don't get super thrilled about having to come back and be like, okay, now I need to sift through like 6 hours of footage. You know, that's not my jam. I like putting the pieces together. I like seeing the story come together, but having to go through and catalog everything and to go and watch through all the different takes and find the best take, that stuff is just, kills me. I will put off getting to the footage. And that in turn slows me down in the whole process, because if I don't look at the footage and I put it off, it just puts me further behind, because then I have to go back and refamiliarize myself with the project, the video that I shot, just think through all the different shots again, and then I still have to organize it and do all the other things. And so I found when I don't immediately go and keep the momentum of shooting, and I understand some days on set are crazy, and so you need like a grace period, you need like a day or two to rest. But if I'm not right back into the editing and I come back to it like a week or 2 later, it can just be even more confusing, because I'm like, okay, what did I shoot? What camera was I using? You know, like just so many things, and it makes it longer. I think the second biggest thing that has been a roadblock for me, and it's gotten me trapped in post-production a lot, is I have no accountability. If I'm doing client work, it's a little bit different, because, you know, I ask them as we're going through all the stuff, like, how do you want the video, what do you want it to look like, when do you need it by? And there's kind of a natural, like, something in you, because you're like, okay, I need to get it to them on this day so I can actually get paid. But when you're just doing your own projects, or maybe you're like doing, you know, a short film or something with a couple friends and you want to get together, it's really easy to say like, oh yeah, like I'll get to that eventually. You know, I'll look at it at some point. And if you never set a date for yourself, if you don't have somebody else who's kind of checking in on you to see how you're doing, it can be really easy for that thing to be on the back burner. And then it's like 3 months down the road from when you shot it. And then it's like a year later and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I shot that video. I guess that project is not happening because there's other things going on. I'll be honest, with some of these projects that I recently wrapped up, there was not hard deadlines attached to these short films. And there was people who wanted them, but they never gave us hard deadlines, like the team I was working with. And so I shot them, I did a little bit of editing afterwards, but then there was other things that took precedent for me, and since there was not a date attached to when people needed these videos, it just kept piling up and moving on back and moving on back. And so here we are, like, you know, 6 to 9 months out from when I shot these things, finally bringing them to completion. And that's terrible. I didn't want to tell you guys, but it's rough. If you're not doing this for a client, like, tell a friend, tell somebody. If you've got like a social media following, like, just even tease like, hey, I've got this cool video coming out, or I'm working on this short film or something, somehow, some way that somebody can hold you accountable, can hold your feet to the fire, and that is just some more energy to keep you moving. And the third big thing that I've found that helps me stay out of, post-production, production hell, whatever you want to call it, is when I'm working on large-scale projects, I need outside perspectives, or I need other perspectives. If you're doing independent filmmaking or creating content on YouTube, you're doing a lot of this yourself, creating the idea, moving it to being filmed, and then like taking it to the editing stage. And that's a lot to do. And sometimes it can be really helpful in editing to bring somebody in with a different perspective or who doesn't even really know the project. For these bigger projects I was working on, one was a longer narrative short film, I ended up having to outsource some of the post-production because I was just so overwhelmed. I'd gotten to this place where it's like I'd done like 2 or 3 cuts of this thing, and I was like, I don't know, I've been with this footage so much, I know the story, I need somebody with a fresh perspective who can watch this and be like, that's good, that kind of sucks, that's confusing. I need that. Sometimes you just need a different perspective to tell you, hey, that thing does not work, and that's okay, and that's great. So I found when I don't end up in a place where I have other people speaking in to the films I'm making, especially the bigger projects, sometimes I get trapped in post-production because I'm just like running myself against the wall when somebody else could say, oh, hey, why don't you change this thing or try to cut it this way or whatever, and that's really what the video needs. That's what's gonna move it forward. Now I wanna hear from all of you. What are things that you have found in your filmmaking journey, maybe patterns or bad habits that have led you to being trapped in post-production or production hell? I want to know, let me know in the comments, and if you found good ways to escape, post-production or things to avoid those pitfalls, let me know about those too down in the comments. Thank you, you all are great, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content about cinematography and storytelling coming to you on a weekly basis. And until next time, keep making movies and watching movies, and I'll see you next time on Reel Filmmaking.